Hey, welcome back to On The Homefront. It's Jeff here. Today, I want to talk about something we're all thinking about as the year winds down. Setting goals for the year ahead, but let's be clear, this isn't about making a list that looks good on paper but ends up forgotten by February. What I've learned is the process works when it's grounded in absolute clarity and accountability and action when you're willing to adapt along the way. So, let's have a conversation about how to approach your goals in a way that feels less like a chore and more like a meaningful commitment to yourself. In home service sales, performance is everything. Meet Rilla Voice, your virtual ride-along. Just like elite athletes thrive on feedback, your team can too. Rilla captures every conversation, delivering real-time insights that drive action. Success isn't left to chance, it's measurable and repeatable. Ready to take your team to new heights? Visit Rilla.com, that's RILLA.com, or click the link below to get your special Homefront Brands Rilla offer today. Before we start looking ahead, let's take a moment and look back. Ask yourself, what went well this year and what didn't and why? A lot of people skip this step, but understanding where you've been, your wins, your losses, gives you a better idea of where you really need to go. For example, maybe you set a goal that you didn't quite hit. Instead of writing it off, dig deeper. Was it the wrong goal, or did you need a different approach? Reflection isn't about beating yourself up, it's about being honest with yourself so you can set smarter goals next year. And sometimes it's not to compromise on the goal, it's to increase your actions and dig in to hit it. Here's another thing, goals cannot be vague. You do not want to be a wandering generality, you want to be a meaningful specific. If you're aiming for something, you've got to define it well, but not in the way that's just about hitting a number or achieving a milestone. Ask yourself, what does success feel like? What does it look like day to day? For me, success is tied to impact on my family, on my team, on the people that I serve. Those all have to be aligned. So when I set my goals, they're just not about revenue or growth metrics, even though that's a part of it. They're about creating something sustainable, something that makes a difference, and something that makes an impact. What does that look like for you? Now, big goals are exciting, but they can also be paralyzing. So you can focus on the mountain, but you also need to focus on the next step. Break your goal into manageable pieces and tackle them one at a time. Start with the first things first and the second things never. It's like building momentum. It's easier to keep moving once you get started, and every journey starts with the first step. So if your goal is to expand your business, start by identifying one specific area to focus on. Use numbers to figure it out. Whether that's retention of customers or launching a new service or upgrading your marketing, choose one thing, make a plan, execute it well, and then move on to the next. This is where a lot of people lose steam. They set a goal, but they don't think about the daily habits it takes to get there. If you don't change your habits, nothing's going to change for you. Goals are the destination, but habits are the vehicle that get you there. And here's the kicker. You've got to enjoy the process, or at least embrace it. And if you can't do either of those, you better tolerate it, because the grind is where the real progress happens. So, if you want to hit a fitness goal, it's just not about running a marathon. It's about lacing up your shoes 3 times a week. If you want to grow your business, it's not about landing that first big client. It's about making those daily calls or following up on those leads and getting little wins along the way. You will create habits through discipline and through repetition, and that's what makes the real change in your life. Now, here's an unpopular opinion. Your goals should evolve. Life isn't static, so why should your plans be? If something isn't working, don't be afraid to change direction. But there's a difference between pivoting and quitting and just adjusting your approach. But keep your eye on the bigger picture. You never realize how many times you're going to have to make changes to ultimately get the win that you set out to get in the first place. Now, once I started doing regular check-ins with myself once a month, am I on track? Does it still feel right? Do I still want to win this goal, or do I need to make an adjustment? It keeps me honest, and it keeps me focused, and it keeps me engaged. As we head into the new year, let's set goals that matter. They need to challenge us. They need to align with our values. They need to help us grow. And at the end of the day, it needs to mean something when we win. But let's also remember that progress is messy, and it's not about perfection, and it's about showing up, making adjustments, and staying the course. The last man standing is the one who ultimately gets the prize. So I challenge you, if it's not this week, to find a week in December to get clear on what you want, why it matters, and why you're willing to do it. Write it down. There's lots of great tools that you can use online for timelining and goal setting. Most importantly, share it with someone that you trust and let them hold you accountable, and then start taking actions against it. Thank you for spending some time today. Goal setting is a skill that I learned as a very young man in my high school basketball team, setting goals on goal cards, putting them in my locker, setting them on my mirror. I had a couple of great coaches that really impressed upon me that if you don't know where you're going, then any road will take you there and you're not going to end up where you want it to be. So plan your work your plan, and I would love to hear your thoughts on goal setting as to what's worked for you, what hasn't, and then maybe a little bit about what you're aiming for in 2025. So drop me a message or share your goals with the On The Homefront community. Let's hold each other accountable and make this year a year to remember. Thanks again to today's sponsor, Rilla Voice. Are you in the home services industry or leading a sales team? Rilla Voice is your virtual ride along, capturing every conversation and turning insights into actions. Visit Rilla.com, that's RILLA.com, or click the link below to get your special Homefront Brands offer today.